All right, hello and welcome to the series of the Business Accelerator. This is called number 17. And this is something I'd started, I think, maybe last year. And whenever there's an energy to something that's going on, either with me or with others, when you're facilitating people, you just come across something that somebody or the other is going through. And when they're discussing things, let me just mute everyone. And there's an energy that comes up with what's going on in other people's lives. And I just know that I have to create a call. So sometimes these calls are created last minute. So my apologies for that. But then how does it get any better than this? Like there's things that there are awarenesses, there are a whole lot of information that that I'll be sharing today, and I wonder who all this will contribute to. Now, when it comes to what do you mean by being unstoppable? Being unstoppable means, where you do not let anybody's projections or their expectations of you or everywhere others are trying to control you. You don't let anything stop you. So what happens is we'll come across certain people who will either be very mean and nasty with us, or at times they'll be like, they'll continuously keep judging, or they'll exclude you from situations. Like you feel like so excluded. Sometimes you are attending a party, but you just feel so excluded. Sometimes you are meeting your so-called friends, but you still feel excluded. So, and then even with your colleagues and your teammates and stuff, and then you wonder what the hell is going on. And the first thought is like, what did I do wrong? Or maybe they don't like me. And and so there can be thousands of reasons why you choose to stop yourself. And the first thing you do is like, oh, maybe if I'm being too much, others will not like me. So let me just go back to being the same as rest and take it from there. And at least that way I'll fit in or I'll be accepted. So most of the times when you're looking at fitting in with people is when you're actually stopping yourself from being you, from choosing more for you, from being limitless. And that does not really create for anybody, and least of all for yourself. So we'll be talking about a lot of things on this call. But before we get started, if anyone has any questions, anything that they're going through, anything that they want resolved, or something that I can facilitate you with, something related to this particular topic, you're most welcome to unmute yourself and ask a question. Any one of you? Anybody going through stuff in their life where they keep stopping themselves? No one? Okay, maybe.
Hi, Smriti.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. How are you? Good to see you.
I'm good. After a long time.
And a long time. Good to see you.
Yeah, good to see you too. The situations where you have to stop is, when you are in a team and you're the only lady, and then, you have men around you, and sometimes you voice an opinion, but it doesn't make any impact on them. They, okay, next point, like, okay, move forward.
Okay, hold on. Let me stop you right here. It's not that it does not make an impact. It's just that they're not willing to validate you or acknowledge you for whatever information you just gave them. And you'll be surprised to see that even though they haven't acknowledged you at that moment, they will implement those things, right?
Exactly.
So you have to know and trust yourself and know what you're putting forward, have a point, and then just go for it. Don't stop yourself from adding to it. People will see when it's really important to know people when they see you, they know your power, they know your potency, they know what you're capable of. And they just hope and wish and pray that you don't see that about yourself. So, one point about being unstoppable is willing to see who you truly are and acknowledging that about yourself, acknowledging the contribution you are, and not waiting for anybody to validate you. So yeah,
Right.
go ahead. What
Yeah.
else?
No, then, surprisingly, as you said, you do see them implementing the same thing which you have said, and then bragging about it that, oh, I got this idea a year ago, but I was not able to, bring it together, and that kind of a thing. So, now as you said, yes, yeah, I knew, and I know that sometimes, your words do make an impact on them. And then, like as you said, I said, okay, let's move forward. But sometimes, as being a human being, it still, pinches you a bit, saying that, oh, what if they recognize that the word go and then implement it along with us being a part of it?
So one thing you could have said at that moment is like, what a coincidence. I also brought up the same topic. I also addressed the same issue. I brought up the same issue during our meeting, and I'm so glad to see it implemented. And just leave it at that. Right? One is that. Second is, what if it did not make any difference? Like, you know what you're doing, and once or twice, when the same thing happens, other people will start acknowledging you. They'll say like, okay, she's making some good, great, valid points, and soon they'll start looking at you for opinion. So you have to keep on trudging along, keep on choosing more, keep on moving ahead, irrespective of whether others are seeing your worth or value or not. They see that, they just don't want to acknowledge that, because if they acknowledge it, then it brings them to a realization where they are not being enough,
Yeah.
and they go into major self-judgment. So you have to be very aware of that. And trust me, people not validating you has got nothing to do with you. It's got everything to do with their insecurity. So you have
Right.
to choose to be unstoppable and keep on choosing more and more, keep on putting forward your points, and it doesn't matter who's acknowledging. You know what you're doing,
Yeah.
you know what you bring to the table, and that's what matters.
Thank you.
You're welcome. There are also times when people will literally attack you in a different way, either directly or indirectly, for being too much. And that's when you have to just lower your barriers, expand your being, allow all those attacks to flow through you, have a lot of allowance for that, and still keep on choosing you. What what does not work is when you tend to lose yourself with those people around. When you tend to back down or backtrack or make yourself small and less because now these guys are here and they are the main people. So, who are you making greater than you? Ask yourself this question. Every time you find yourself shrinking or pulling back, ask, okay, truth, who am I making greater than me? And what's the value of making other people greater than me? And what energy, space, and consciousness do I and my body have to be to own, claim, and acknowledge the magnificence of me with total ease? And everything that doesn't allow that, destroy and uncreate it all, and use the access clearing statement with it. So cool. Any other question?
Yeah.
I
Uh,
am.
yeah.
Yeah.
Smriti, I have got a tender worth 50 CR.
Okay.
I
How does
have,
it get better?
and I have got the machinery, I have got the confidence. But I feel fear that if I doesn't get my bills from the government, what will be my this thing? That thought is bothering me like anything.
So, okay, cool. First of all, you know that your point of view will create your reality, right? So stop giving energy to that. Secondly, what are you aware of? And if you're aware of something, then ask those people to first clear the bills, then you'll move ahead with the rest.
Okay.
Yeah, and why don't you just ask for advance? What would that create? So instead of spending a lot, like you've already spent a certain amount on that
Yeah.
project, ask them to reimburse you, and then so that you can start the next part of the project. Don't wait for them to pay everything in one lump sum. That does not really create. So be very mindful of that and be totally prepared with that. And also make it a point to start taking advance.
Hmm.
Because once the work is done, people usually then sort of just backtrack and then they don't really, they just move away, right? So
Yeah.
they will be after you until unless they have some work with you or they have to get something sorted. So be mindful of that and please ask for advance with all your projects. Say, give me this advance so that just say, okay, I'm sending you the bills to clear so that we can start, get moving with the next part of the project. So you have 1 week's time and I'll be really obliged if you can clear the dues. And keep sending them the bills, keep asking for the dues and be willing to hold the work until all the dues are paid. So you need to know your worth and value and demand that. And there's a lot that you can also choose to do energetically. You don't have to like go tell them, hey, listen, I'm worth something. It's not done like that. It's about owning who you are. That's what starts changing. Okay. And pock and pod everywhere, you get a sense that, they may not pay your bills. Keep saying, using the tools, how does it get any better than this? What else is possible? Just keep on saying that anytime that kind of a worry shows up, right? And shift the energy.
Okay.
Cool. Anyone else have any questions? No? Okay, cool. I'm just muting you, Anil. All right, now what happens is, so in today's world, literally choosing to be unstoppable really matters, okay? Because because new realities are happening and these new realities bring with them tremendous possibilities and like unlimited potentials with them, right? Now, to thrive and flourish in the coming times ahead, it'll require a different mindset. You can't really choose to be complacent. So you have to be one step ahead, not from a space of being competitive, but more from a space of um, not just settling with whatever is there. It's about, okay, cool, wow, thank you, universe. I did all this. Now, what else is possible? So, always just moving ahead, thinking ahead, choosing the next possibility. It's like something like as simple as, when you're flying and you're flying from point A to point B, and you're flying, and in between, you'll be going via other um, points, right? So you have to, when you take off and stuff, after a point in time, you have to figure out what are the next destination and what is required, what are the things that you have to keep put in place for that and be prepared. So you're just constantly preparing ahead, right? So it's the same thing with your life also. You have to constantly keep on preparing for the future that you desire and keep asking, okay, what choices can I make today that my future self will thank me for? Sometimes a lot of us don't even know what we want in our future. So we don't know what to choose now. So this asking this question starts shifting and changing things. Okay. Now, when you're looking at choosing, what does it really mean to be unstoppable? Uh, it means choosing to stop functioning with the limit within the limitations of this reality and to stop taking on any kind of limited points of view that other people are buying into. So with whatever's happening in the world, what if you did not choose to be affected by that? And what if you know what you know and trusted yourself and kept choosing based on that? Right? It's about being very present with your life. It's also being unstoppable also means not being controlled by anybody else's reality. So let me give you an example, like Coco Chanel and Florence Nightingale. Okay, these are the examples of women who were choosing to stop operating within the limitations of this reality, and they were like really totally non-conformists, and even in the face of unfavorable consequences, they kept on choosing a very different reality for themselves. Okay, so what did they do? They literally pushed the boundaries of knowledge, and they were exploring things that were totally out of contextual reality. Okay. The most important thing is that they had the courage to stand alone, follow their awareness, and take what others would regard as something very, very risky option. And most people would actually choose a selected or a safe route, but they were willing to choose more risky options for themselves. Okay. And basically, they were people who were aware that there's a different possibility, and they were aware of different things, and they were willing to follow their knowing. Okay. So but whatever they did, they they undertook actions that actually created a lot of value in the society and shaped a future beyond most of the people's imagination. So they were truly being leaders in their own way. Okay. So they did not let other people's they did not let the controls of other people's points of views, their realities, their judgments or decisions become the controlling factor in their lives. So how many of us are doing that? And is that even working? How many of us stop choosing more for ourselves because we feel, oh, so and so will not be happy? Or, you know, what will other people think? Or they might not like me. Or how can I be too much? People will just squash me. So these are the different reasons why people will not step up. And it could be something as simple as, oh, how can I earn more than my husband? Right? Something as simple as that. Or how can I be bigger than my mentor? Or how can I outcreate my mentor? It's all bullshit. People are creating as much as they're choosing. If you're willing to choose greater, just keep stepping up. It doesn't matter who thinks what about you. Like today, if I tell you you had only 10 seconds to live your life, what would you do? You would want to go ahead and do everything that you've always wanted to, and you kept on stopping yourself, right? Whether it is bungee jumping, or whether it is flying a plane, or whether it is just marrying somebody you wanted to, or whatever it is, like things that you've been stopping yourself from, you would like to just go ahead and do that because now you just have 10 seconds to live your life. So it's the reason we use that tool in Access is also to bring you to an awareness what actually is important for you in your life. So a lot of times we stop choosing for ourselves or stop doing things because other people might not like it. It could be our own family members or our friends. And you know how much your own friends will judge you. Like, how could you go ahead and attend that class? Why didn't you tell me? Or how many times when each one of you would share with somebody that, oh, this is what I'm planning to do, or this is what's showing up for me right now. And boom, the next minute, that whole thing just fizzles through and it doesn't come through. What just happened here? So you need to be very aware who you share things with, right? So when I'm asking you to be unstoppable, it also means just for me, just for fun, never to tell anyone, especially all your plans and things that you're looking to create, because you have no idea who's actually a well-wisher or not. Now that does not mean you just discard everybody in your life. I'm not talking about that, but be present and say, okay, is this important to share right now? Would sharing this create something greater for me and these people? If yes, then go ahead. Otherwise, you can also ask, is now the time? Ideal thing would be to share once the work is done. And yeah. Now, what else? Now, when you're talking about how can you embrace being unstoppable as a way of being in your own life? Okay, so first you must realize that being unstoppable is a choice. Okay, not choosing is also a choice, but choosing to be unstoppable is a choice that you make. It's mainly a commitment that you make to yourself. Okay, you don't make it to others. That's a commitment you make to yourself to not live by anyone else's judgments and reality ever again, no matter what. Okay. And each one of us has this ability to become unstoppable. It's not like some extraordinary privilege or a special treat that's like only for certain can only be created by certain people, or it's only best out to some people and not to others. It's like it's a very knowable and an attainable state of being, and that's available to everyone if you choose to claim it and own it and acknowledge it for yourself. Okay, and also when I'm talking about being unstoppable, it's actually an experience of expanding your awareness beyond its present limits. So choosing to choose so much more for yourself, uh, asking for things to show up, things that you wouldn't even have ever dreamt of earlier, you know? So you would have realized certain people who have really achieved great things have been the one who've been willing to ask for that. So I had this lady who was part of my foundation class long back, so many years ago. And there was this topic about ask. So I just happened to ask them, okay, how big is your ask? So if you were to ask something really, really big from the universe, what would you ask for? And and so she's a chocolatier, and then she said, I'd like to outcreate Lindt chocolates. And when I heard that, and I was like, oh wow, because Lindt chocolates is a big deal, especially in Europe and America and all over the world. Okay, those are really amazing chocolates, and they have a big name for themselves. And here she was, who was literally starting out, and she was choosing to outcreate them. And I was like so amazed with that. And I was like, okay, all the power you require, whatever it is that you require to create that. Now, one thing you have to be aware of now, when you're asking for something big, it's a constant choice of stepping into it constantly every day. So you have to keep making small, small choices that keep leading you to that path. So I think she's already on her way for doing that because she has a single-minded goal and she is choosing that and she's moving along with that. So how does it get any better than this? So when anytime you have an ask or a demand of yourself from the universe, um, keep asking, okay, what do I have to be and do to actualize it? Universe, show me the way. And that is something you have to choose every 10 seconds, every single day, every hour, every month, every year. You have to just keep on choosing it again and again and again so that you're able to create it. It's not like, oh, today I decide I'm going to choose to be this. And then 3 years down the line, I'm nowhere close to that because after that, I forgot about it. That does not work. It has to be a everyday choice. Okay. Now, what else? It's being unstoppable is also a state of flexible awareness, like with no fixed points of view. Um, if you have to thrive and provide real value, you have to be the leader of your life and you must choose to be unstoppable. Okay. So it's like you also have to be fluid and not be very rigid and fixed. It's like, when you look at water, when you pour water in any vessel, it just takes the shape of that. So you have to be very, very present with whatever's going on at that moment and be willing to sidestep or mold yourself into that, whatever challenges are coming up, whatever chaos you're dealing with, and keep on out creating. So be willing to move and be a little flexible and be totally present because that's what starts creating things. Okay. Now, I'll be sharing quite a few points, but let's start with these 5 points that you must do to be unstoppable. The first one is making a choice to choose. Okay. Uh, it's you have to choose to be unstoppable. It's not like a place you go to. It is who you are. It's the energy who you're being. So when you're being unstoppable, that's when you're actually truly being you. And you do not define yourself from any limited perspective of this reality, and you don't go by anybody else's reality, and you do not adjust your world to fit in with anybody's reality. It's about not losing you in the presence of others. It's about holding your ground, acknowledging your worth. It's about knowing who you are and trusting yourself. Most importantly, it's about trusting yourself. Okay? And now the second one. The second point is become aware of limited points of view. So when you're truly choosing to be unstoppable, you must really, really come out of any kind of limited points of view that you have created. You have to become aware of where you're functioning from, and that is creating any limitation in your business or in your life, and in any other areas of your life. Okay, maybe in your relationships or wherever else. So the moment you take that initiative of becoming very, very aware of your limitations or your habits or any sort of unconscious conditioning, that's when you are on the path to becoming unstoppable, because you can only change what you're aware of, right? So there are a lot of times, there are a lot of things going on in your world, and you wonder, like, why the hell is this being created? What's going on here? And and you have no idea how to change it. And you also keep wondering, why the hell am I dealing with this? It also boils down to the fact that somewhere you're not even aware of what is it that's creating these issues. So the moment you acknowledge, okay, cool, these are the things, this is where I might be not putting in 100% efforts, or maybe I'm not committed enough to creating this or actualizing it. The moment you become aware of something, you have a choice to change it and outcreate it. Okay. Now, the third point is commit yourself to change in every aspect of your life, and give up defining yourself in any way, shape, or form. So, what happens when you define yourself? When you define yourself, you just limit yourself. Like, so I am so and so, and so it'll be like, oh, how many of you as kids while growing up defined or identified yourself as good boys or good girls? How many of your parents controlled you by defining you or describing you as a good boy or a good girl? And now, because you're a good boy or a good girl, you would not choose to do certain things because, that will take you out of that definition. You can't rebel, you can't do anything else because you have to now be in that mold of good boy or a good girl. So these are the ways where you're defining yourself, and is that even creating anything for you? So be very, very present with what's going on, and to change things, to be unstoppable, you have to make a demand of yourself. No matter what it takes, no matter what it looks like, I'm going down this path. I'm choosing this for myself. And be willing to be very, very vulnerable, and be willing to stay open to the new and unfamiliar and the unknown, and just trust yourself and know that you will outcreate and you will be able to actualize all the things that you've been asking for. Okay. So also, when you're asking to be committed, be willing to be open to all possibilities, and be willing to look at all that you can do that will create more possibilities for you. Okay? So these are the things. Now, fourth point would be you must be willing to challenge the traditional perception and the assumptions and points of view. So to be unstoppable require you to become more aware of the boundaries and restrictions that confine your behavior, and then deliberately let those boundaries or restrictions go or step beyond them. Okay, it's not about breaking rules, it's about renouncing the significance of all those conventions and rules and regulations, um, especially and most importantly, those that do not contribute to your success. So basically, it's about finding more generative and dynamic and flexible ways of being, and choosing more for yourself, and not making anything significant. And like how I just spoke to Sarada about, it doesn't matter. The reason, what happens is the moment you as a lady are speaking out and giving your points of view about something or sharing some insight, just because the rest of the people in that meeting are all males, they will just sort of discount that because they have certain opinion about women. So no matter what, it does not matter who thinks what about you. You know what you bring to the table, stand your ground and be firm and put it out. Okay. Yes, a lot of people will not validate you, but then at least you be there to validate yourself. And when you start acknowledging yourself and your worth and value and owning your worth and value, the people around you will start seeing you for that. Your confidence speaks, okay? And when you are very confident about what you're sharing, others will also stop by and actually take notice. Okay, so trust yourself and know your worth. Now, fifth is be flexible and spontaneous. So when I'm talking about that, it's about choose to be aware and be mindful and be ready to shift strategy uh, and tactics based on whatever the situation requires at that time. It's like be willing to or actually cultivate the ability to change and transform on a dime just like that. Okay, basically it's like how Simon mentions when you're creating a business or creating your life, and creating your life is also your business. It's like creating a business is more like skiing down the slope, and you're skiing at a very fast pace, and suddenly there might be a bush that is covered by snow, which you can't see from far, but the moment you closer to that, you realize, oh, there's a bush, and now you're skiing down at a very high speed. So you have to be willing to just swerve or move or change directions on a dime, just like that. So creating a business is also about being very, very, very present to what next, like what's required at this moment. So that's why the ability to change and transform on a dime comes from the capacity to adapt as needed and to create flexible structures that are appropriate and suitable at that moment for your life, for your business, for whatever projects you're working on. Just being really, really present and not being fixed with certain things. Okay. Um, so yeah, these are few of the things. Now, how much uh, how much trust would you have to have in you that would never allow you to give up on you and your asks? Literally, being unstoppable is it is the willingness to go and do whatever is required, whatever will create greater, and the trust and commitment to you and your dreams and your ask that will allow you to create a greater world for you. Okay, especially when everything seems to be going against you, just remember that the airplane always takes off against the wind and not with it. Okay, so that that is a very important line to remember. When everything seems to be going against you, just remember the airplane always takes off against the wind and not with it. Okay, so if now is the time, what can you do or be different today to choose for you rather than against you? And every time I keep telling you this, being unstoppable is a choice. It's a commitment that you make to yourself, not to live by anyone else's judgments or reality ever again, no matter what. No matter how hard it gets, no matter what all went wrong, you will always have it in you to stand up and be strong. Okay. Um, there's nothing. So this is a poem I'm quoting from a friend. Her name is Masuda, and I love this poem. And I'm just quoting this. Okay? No matter how hard it gets, no matter what all went wrong, you always, always have it in you to stand up and be strong. There's nothing that's unchangeable. You just need to decide and do whatever it takes to twirl around the tide. When everything seems to be going against you, remember that the airplane takes off against the wind, not with it. No matter how hard it gets, no matter what all went wrong, you always, always have it in you to stand up and be strong. So just know that. So now let me do a clearing. So what have you made so vital about stopping you that keeps you from being the phenomenal force of unstoppable in your business? Everything that is times a godzillion. Will you destroy and uncreate it all, please? Right. Followed by the clearing statement. Now, it's like uh, when people are being weird, mean, nasty energy with us, and and then you wonder, like, why the hell are they why are they treating us like this? And the first thing you do is, especially when people are judging you, the first thing you tend to do is stop yourself and hold back. And that doesn't really create anything. That's the time for you to outcreate those judgments. That's the time for you to be very present and say, okay, cool. Just because somebody is judging me does not make me that. Just because someone is choosing to define me or accuse me of something does not really mean I'm that, right? I know who I am, and I don't really have to give anybody any explanations. I don't owe anybody any explanations. And that's a time for you to be even more of yourself. So that's a time to turn it up even more. The main reason why people are stopping you are because they can't see your power and potency. They will do whatever they can to stop you. And the easiest way to do that is to judge you or to accuse you of something falsely or whatever, and sort of stop talking to you and do all sorts of things, right? Or create false narratives around you, about you. So there are a whole lot, or gaslight you. There's a whole lot of things that people do. But when you trust yourself and you keep choosing you no matter what, that's the sign of actually truly choosing to be unstoppable no matter what. That's the time to turn it up and choose so much more. Now, does anyone have more questions? There are some more things that I'd like to share. Any one of you? Go ahead, unmute and ask. What are you going through? What's showing up for you in your world? What's not working for you?
Smriti, hi. I think I missed most of it. I just
Hi,
joined.
Lisa.
Would you be
Yeah,
giving recording for this, please?
yes. So I'll be sharing it in my group. Where, like, how are you part of my group? I'm not sure. Can you take down my number? I think I'll just write it and
Yeah,
just send me a hi, and I will just add you to that.
sure, great, please. I think I have your number. It's on the group, I am sure. Yeah.
Yeah, it should be. It
Yeah,
will
yeah,
be
yeah.
wherever you saw this message, it would be
Yeah.
there. But
Yes.
cool. So
Thank you.
yeah, that's the number. Like, whoever wants to be added to the group. So I'll be sharing it there. I don't share it everywhere mostly. It's just mostly in those groups. Or you can go to my YouTube channel, which is not very active, but then this will be posted on YouTube also. Cool. Does anyone else have any questions? Anything that you're dealing with? Anything that's going on for you in your world? Things that are not working?
Hello, hello, ma'am. Ma'am,
Yes,
I
Geeta.
just want to share that everything you told is just the same, which is going on in my world and what I am looking for.
Cool.
And
How does
I am
it
pulling back. I am pulling back, and I am just quiet. And I was not even able to say hi to you at that time you joined the program. And I was so quiet and so fearful that I was not able to speak a single word today. But today, what you have spoken is everything resonating and giving me the so many things, so many ways to do
Geeta,
something. Thank you.
you're welcome. I'll just say one thing. Each one of you need to remember that you are teaching people how to treat you. Okay. And at times when people are treating you in a particular way, you also need to acknowledge that just going up to them and asking them or saying, hey, why are you doing this, does not really work. Okay, because they will just deny it. So confronting people does not really create much. But
Yeah,
the thing is, you need to you need to realize that each one is giving you information about themselves. Most of the
yeah,
time, they think that you're not aware and they can get away
yes.
with it. And they do manage to get away with it. But they will get away till the time you are allowing them to get away with it. And just because they're
Mm,
aware also does not mean you have to do anything. But you have to, at that moment, ask to outcreate that. So you have to
Yeah.
choose so much more for yourself, so much more that you just literally leave all these people far behind, where whatever they're doing and being does not even matter to you anymore, where it you leave them, you choose to be so much more successful or totally unstoppable that no matter what they're doing, whatever they're saying, it just does not matter, because now you know what, you're going to be choosing more for yourself, no matter what.
Yeah, because
That's the energy.
in this situation, I thought that I have to pull back and sit quietly and work on myself instead of confronting and wasting my energy. Yeah,
Pulling back is not the answer. Choosing to
yeah,
stay quiet at that moment is a choice you can see based on what will create greater at that moment, because arguing with people does not really create. But
mhm,
uh, end of the day, it's more like being pushed. A lot of us, you know what they do. You will, like, most of us can be so complacent in life and so relaxed and chilled out, and also very very resilient. So people can,
mm,
we just allow people to get away with a whole lot of things. It's like a rubber band that just keeps stretching, and we're like, it's okay, it's okay, it's okay, it's only me, it's okay. And you know, you keep allowing that rubber band to stretch till it snaps. So it's
yeah,
basically the moment you're pushed against the wall is when you're like, you know what, back off. Ho gaya, bahut ho gaya.
yeah,
Now watch me. So that's what it is. So sometimes you need to be present and ask, okay, how much more I'm choosing to be complacent with this? And what do I have to be and do to out create this situation? This
yes,
shift
oh,
changes now. The moment you make that decision is when things start moving. And for that, you have to be willing to let go of people. You have to be willing to lose everything. But you have to choose you. What is happening
mm,
is, just to keep everybody in place, we end up losing ourselves, and that doesn't create anything. The
yeah,
more you lose yourself, the more people will, you allow people to step over you. It just will
mm,
not create anything. It's more about, you mess with me, I'm gonna kill you. Be that energy.
yeah,
It doesn't mean you have to go and kill people, but you have to be willing to have that aggressive presence. And when I'm talking about aggressive presence, it's about not losing yourself in the presence of anybody else, no matter what. It's just your energy that, you know, when you look at a lion, nobody messes with the lion, right? Why? Like, if
mm,
you look at them, they're the cutest. Like, I can watch lion videos throughout the day because I find them so cute. But the thing is,
yeah,
nobody dares mess with the lion. The moment you get closer to that lion, it'll just look at you with such ferocious eyes that I mean, you will just stop dead on your tracks right there, right?
yes, yes, yes,
Oh, so what if you can actually have that energy around you, that lion energy? Start
yeah,
asking to cultivate that. Long back,
okay,
I had a session with Dr. Dane, and he asked me to do that. He's like, choose to be that lion energy. And it took me maybe more than 2 years to even get a semblance of what he was asking me to step into. Because I was like, how can I be that? Because I
yeah,
was used to having people walk over me. That,
yeah,
but today nobody dares do that. So it is,
mm,
nobody even associates me with that energy anymore, you know? Like,
okay,
so
yes,
so
yes,
much has changed for me. And it's just a daily choice. Every single day you have to choose you, no matter what. Keep choosing you. Okay. And for
yes,
all,
thank you, thank
you're
you, thank
welcome. And for all that, you all have to be very, very absolutely relentless. So like, okay,
yeah,
what else can you do?
yeah, okay, okay,
Or,
thank you,
cool, thanks, Geeta. I'm muting you now. So the one more thing. Now, when you're looking at choosing more for yourself, you
mm,
have to really, that thing, that craving has to be from within. Okay.
yes,
And
yes,
the craving has to be literally so much, like you have to crave the end result so intensely that the work actually becomes irrelevant. It's about having an unwavering desire to achieve your goals and being willing to put in whatever necessary efforts are required and the sacrifices to make it happen. It's about choosing so much more for yourself. Okay. And then another thing is don't just like when you're doing a job, take ownership or your role and responsibility, whether it's a job, whether it's a business, or whatever it is you're choosing, take ownership and responsibilities for that, okay? And be willing to go above and beyond what is expected. So when you start setting high standards for yourself and you're constantly pushing limits,
Yes.
then you tend to become to separate yourself from the average and actually end up becoming great. Geeta, I'm muting you now.
Okay.
That's fine.
Okay.
Thanks.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Cool. And then one is that. Another thing that you can choose to do is embrace relentlessness. Okay, like when I'm talking about being relentless, it means never being satisfied with your current level of performance. It's about continuous, not from a space of judging yourself or not from the space of choosing to be perfect, but it's about constantly, continuously setting new goals and striving for more improvement. And if you're good, aim to be great. If you're great, push yourself to become unstoppable. And relentlessness is basically the key to reaching out to main heights of success. Yes, Ankita, you have a question?
Yes, and thank you, Smriti. My question is in connection with of what you are actually talking. So I have my like IT and healing business both, and my IT business is definitely contributing to my healing business because I'm getting a lot of clients from healing business. Although the clients are not showing up in my space physically as of now for IT business. Okay, so when I am choosing to outcreate my IT business, uh, is that the entity, because as per my understanding, business itself brings clients for themselves. So where I am separating with the energy of my business, that's my question. Is that the business will bring the clients, or do I have to be that energy? Because both are different entities.
Okay, Ankita, your being is an invitation to clients. Who you're being is what will invite more and more people to your businesses. Okay, one is that. Secondly, I want to ask, have you done any of the Joy of Business classes?
Yes, I have done it.
Which one?
Joy of Business, the one which I think I think now they have made a separate series altogether. In 2021, it was altogether one.
Yeah, so now it is one is a business profit and money class. It's profit, business, and money class, which is a one-day class, and that has a lot of things about energy pools, which you can use to bring in more clients. There's a lot of information about creating business, inviting more clients. It's about creation of money. It is about who you're being in your business. Where are the places where you are stopping yourself? Where are you letting other people's opinions and projections stop you? And there's a whole lot of information on that. It's like a one-day class. I would highly recommend you to choose that for the time being. And then whenever you're ready, you can step into choosing a business done different class. That's a 3-day class. So
by chance, are you a facilitator of business done different?
I am. And I have the business profit, business and money class coming up. It's on 15th. And it can be attended online and it can be attended in person. It's going to be in Mumbai. So it'll be both. It's like a hybrid class. You can simultaneously attend it in person or online, whatever works. And the cost for that class is around 40,000. And it's a 1 full day class. And you get a manual and it is loaded with so much of clearing, so much of insights, especially about creating clients, what are the different ways, the different energy pools that you can do. And it's a lot of information on that.
Sure. Thank you so much.
Connect with me if you're choosing that.
Smriti, when is that class?
It is on 15th.
2-3 days only.
What's the date? 15th is, today is 13th. It's day after.
Huh. Okay.
Come join. It's a beautiful class. Beautiful
Yes,
class.
yes.
All right. Yeah. So, Ankita, that's what it is. Basically, it's your being, which is an invitation to everything, right? Especially like a lot of people keep trying a lot in their business and all, but it's your being, who you're being is like, say for example, if you're constantly doubting yourself, then people, when they'll ask you, they'll approach you, but they will also move away because they will not be able to trust you enough because you are not willing to trust yourself, right? I'm just giving an example. So when you own everything you are, when you acknowledge yourself, when you step into truly being you, uh, from in all aspects, and trusting yourself so dynamically, when you're choosing to be unstoppable, then people will be like, okay, what is this person doing? What is this person creating? I'd like to be a part of this. And then they start showing up for your classes, for your creations, for your businesses, whichever business you want. And yeah, the Joy Business classes are really brilliant. They very informative, and they invite you to doing business from a totally different paradigm. All right, there were a couple of more points I wanted to discuss. One is I spoke about being relentlessness. The next one is just 2, 3 more points. Just bear with me. I know the call has become really long. The other one is thrive under pressure to be unstoppable. So when you're looking at being unstoppable, you have to be willing to thrive under pressure. Because what happens is a lot of us give up because we feel too much of pressure. We allow pressure to overwhelm us. The pressure can be in the form of colleagues who are plotting and planning against you in your organization, or it can show up in the form of colleagues taking away your credit, things that you worked really hard for, but somebody else walks away with the credit, or where they just keep belittling you, they just keep sidelining you, yet keep on taking all your inputs and all the efforts that you're putting in. They start presenting that as their work. There can be all kinds of pressure on you, and even though they're taking and using your work, they're constantly telling you you're not good enough, right? And it's very overwhelming, and it's not a good environment to work in. Now, the thing is, if you allow all of this to overwhelm you, what happens? What's the first thing you do when people are being this energy and mean and nasty energy with you? The first thing we do is shrink, we move away, we pull away. That's the time for you to own everything you are. And now, because people are walking away with the credit, start taking credit for whatever. Hey, this is done. Or like how I told Sarda, like let them know, hey, thanks, like what a coincidence. I also happen to bring up the same point, which now you've implemented. So thank you so much. Even though that person said, I thought of it a year ago. You can just step in and say, hey, but I'm so glad to see the point that I brought up in our previous meeting has been implemented. So thank you so much. Really glad. And such a coincidence that both of us thought of the same thing. Now, what are you doing? Now, people will think 10 times before sidelining you because you are not willing to be sidelined. Nobody can sideline you unless you are being that energy with yourself. If you are constantly sidelining you, if you are constantly thinking that I'm important only when other people see my brilliance, or if only other people are going to validate me, no, that does not work. You have to be that for yourself. You don't have to wait for anybody else. You have to be your own cheerleader. You have to keep choosing more for yourself. And then others around you will start seeing who you are being and start choosing you. So just remember that. Okay. Now, anytime you're under pressure, use that as a fuel to perform at your best. Okay. And for that, you might have to develop mental toughness and also the ability to stay focused and composed in challenging situations. Just step into that. It's just a choice. Okay. And also acknowledge that pressure is an opportunity to showcase your skills and rise above the competition. It's about not giving up, no matter what. Giving up is not an option. So just keep on moving and be willing to let it all go also. Because even if you lose everything, guess what? You will create something else. very soon. So trust yourself. A lot of us, tend to let go of things or make ourselves less because we want to maintain status quo. And, whether it's in a relationship or it's in your workspace or wherever else, even when you're working with a team, it's not about you. You need to acknowledge it's about who you're being that is actually making other people insecure. So when people are being mean and nasty, it's because somewhere you're being something that is making them insecure. So own it and turn it up even more and be even more of that. Okay, that's the path to choosing to be unstoppable. And a couple of more things. One is also to trust your instincts. So please trust your instincts, rely on your intuition to make quick and effective decisions, especially in high pressure situations. That's when your instincts can actually guide you towards the right course of action. Okay, trusting yourself by using your instincts, you can actually navigate all the challenges and actually seize all the opportunities with confidence. Okay. Another thing is just two more points. One is you must learn to control and adapt to any situation. Like I mentioned earlier, be willing to be flexible and adjust your approach as needed. Okay. And don't let external circumstances or setbacks derail you from your goals. Keep on choosing again. Be willing to overcome all the obstacles to your path of success. And most importantly, anything is possible. So when you believe that anything is possible, you will actualize it and you will create it. All you have to do is remove all the self-imposed limitations and be willing to embrace the mindset that you can achieve whatever it is that you want, no matter what. Like you have to start cultivating a strong belief in your abilities and refuse to let any kind of doubt or negativity hold you back. Trust yourself, choose you, be unstoppable. These are the things I'll leave you with. No matter what, trust yourself, choose you. Okay? That the moment, no matter what's going on, when you're choosing you, that's it. That's a game changer. Okay. Cool. Anybody else have any questions or we can end the call? Yeah.
Smriti, we will get the recording.
Yes, Ankita, you'll get the recording. I will share it in my groups. And just before we leave, I'll just tell you about a couple of my classes that are coming up. One is the Access Business Profit and Money class, which is a one-day class. It's on 15th morning, around 10 to 5. It's a full-day class and there's a manual with a lot of clearing. So if you're looking at creating a dynamic business, this is the beginning of that. And then we have a Right Voice for You class coming up. It's a retreat and it's on from 3rd to 5th of October. It's near Pune and it's in a beautiful, beautiful villa near Pune, and it's a 3 full-day class. And it's about showing up, it's about receiving you, it's a very, very beautiful class. We will be creating a call for that. This class is being co-facilitated with me and Rashi. And we will create a separate call for that as an invitation call and an intro call. And there's also a Talk to the Entity class coming up, which is from 19th to 22nd. It's an intro and beginning, as well as a Talk to the Entity intermediate class. It is also available online. So in case, no matter which part of the world you are in, you can still join it. And we also have a Talk to the Entity retreat coming up, which is in a fort near Jaipur, end of September. And imagine learning about entities in a fort, especially in Rajasthan. I wonder what that would create. We also have an option to go for a safari, wildlife safari there, one day. And it's like, if you need more information, just connect with me. And yeah, there are a lot of things coming up. So keep choosing. And I'm so grateful for each one of you. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you.
Smriti,
Yes.
can I take the photograph of this horse picture?
Yeah. The horse picture. This is the
Yeah.
painting by me.
Yeah,
Yes.
one minute. 1
Yes,
minute,
let
1
me do.
minute.
Let me know when it's done.
Done.
All
Thank
right.
you. Thank you.
Smile, please. Smile, please, all of you. Show your faces.
Thank you so much, guys. And I'll see you guys soon. So grateful for each one of you.
Good night.
Bye. Harish, you took your picture?
Yes, yes.
All right. Thank you. Bye.